All right, kids. Everybody knows John 3:16, right? For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son. Okay? Well, this is 1 Corinthians 3:16. Okay? Same chapter and verses, different book. 1 Corinthians 3:16. Do you know what it says?
For God so loved the world that He gave His only begotten Son, so whoever shall believe in Him will not perish but have everlasting life.
That's John 3:16 for sure. This is 1 Corinthians 3:16. It says, "Know ye not that ye are the temple of God, and that the Spirit of God dwelleth in you." What does that mean? What do you think that means?
It's like Yoda telling you that the force is real.
Not quite. You are the temple of God. In other words, you're the house of God. Now, when we think of the temple of God or the house of God, we think of church, right? Isn't that what we think of? The church is the house of God? But Paul is telling us here that we are the house of God and that God's Spirit dwells in us. Now, I wanted you to really understand this first. So I asked my buddy Avery to help me. Okay? Come here, David.
Or dumping somebody in a trash can.
Now, well, notice something about this trash can. It has a heart on it. It represents our heart, okay?
Or in the trash.
Well, right now, Avery is representing Jesus, okay? Jesus lives inside our heart, right? See? Jesus lives inside our heart. And this verse, 1 Corinthians 3:16, is followed by 1 Corinthians 3:17. And it says, "If any man defile the temple of God, him shall God destroy. For the temple of God is holy, which temple ye are." Now that's a lot of big words that you guys don't understand yet. But to defile a house is like to mess a house up. Does anybody here have a messy room?
I have that.
We got a few that are honest here. Right.
Casey's
Well,
next door.
let's not talk about Casey, but to mess up our heart, to mess up the place where God lives, God takes that seriously. He doesn't want to live in a messy place. Okay? So I have my friend David here, and I'm saying that Jesus lives in my heart, right? And David comes over to my house. And David, he wants me to do something that I know is wrong. What are you asking me to do, David?
How about we just don't go to church Sunday?
Skip church? Is that a good idea?
Well,
But-
it's for some stupid.
Well, David's my friend, and I'm trying to impress him, okay? And so he's encouraging me to stay home from church, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. But by doing that, what does the Bible say? That when we're sinning, we're defiling the house of God, right? We're defiling the temple. I can't really show you what sin looks like.
I'm hungry now.
Sometimes sin is pretty good. Tasty. Remember we talked about sin before. We said sin feels good sometimes at the time. Sin even looks good sometimes. Right at the beginning. It's not till later that we find out how rotten it is. Do y'all love Jesus?
Yes.
How many of you would do this to Jesus? Would you do that?
No.
When you sin, that's what you're doing. You're defiling the temple. You're getting Jesus all messy. If I love Jesus, I'm not going to do that. Right? Am I? I guess you could.
Do it to impress me. Do it again.
Well, of course, his big brother's wanting us to keep on.
I'll throw all over him.
What about
Oh, do
maybe? Come here for a second, Aiden. This is my friend Aiden. I have more than one friend. I know you have to find out how to believe. My mom told me not to watch South Park. You know that? Because South Park says things and does things that doesn't agree with what my pastor preaches. But my friend Aiden, he watches South Park And he said, if I come over to his house and watch, I can watch it, and my mom won't know. Because she's not there, we'll just sneak in his room and we'll watch South Park. Isn't that what he said?
Yeah.
Why don't you go ahead and help me out? It's sin. It's yucky. It's disgusting. We don't do that to somebody we love. Shame on you for doing that to me. Okay, you can sit down. But you know, just sometimes.
Oh, I need that.
No, this is chocolate pudding. You know what? I'm pretty sure sin may look a little bit like chocolate pudding.
Sin is actually tasty.
It seems good for a moment. It does seem good for a moment. But let's see. Do I have another friend?
Yeah, me again.
How about you? Come on up.
Oh, come on, do
In
something.
a smiley face shirt. Come on. Yeah. Yeah. Now, you was telling me that it's really cool to smoke, didn't you?
Oh my.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you told me that you found a pack of cigarettes, is that right?
Oh my.
And didn't you tell me that we could sneak behind the school and smoke those cigarettes? You remember telling me that?
That's what, I know kids who smoke weed in 4th grade.
Sometimes it might be that. Man, we are messy.
And also
I'm glad we
something
came
else,
in here.
tobacco and something else.
What do you think sin looks like when you sneak off and smoke or chew or drink? What does it look like?
Get black.
Now wait a minute. Would you do that to Jesus? Should you do that to Jesus? See, the problem is when we do bad things, we don't understand what we're doing to Jesus. So I want to show you, when you do bad things, it just doesn't affect you, it affects the Lord. I hope you wouldn't do this to Jesus.
Yeah. We used to call a horse in here right by the bucket, lift up his tail and let it
Oh boy.
like fill it up, and then
Thank you
everybody
for
dumps
helping
it.
me. Okay, now there's a rest of the story here, okay? There's a right way to treat Jesus. What we was doing, this was the wrong way to treat Jesus. When you do whatever you want and think you can take Jesus with you, this is what you're doing. It's disgusting. See that? Isn't that horrible? Okay. But listen. There is a right way to live. There is a right way to treat Jesus. And so I asked my buddy Lily to help me out. Come on up, Lily.
Look at that.
That's TMI, buddy. Go ahead and sit on that throne there. We've got a mess to clean up.
By mess, you mean me.
Right?
I'm covered in
Okay.
chocolate and jello.
See, I brought a crown. And you see, Lily is pretending to be Jesus now. You notice she's sitting on a throne. Okay? She's got a robe on. And you know what I'm going to do? I am going to put a crown on her head. She represents Jesus. And you should treat Jesus like the king of your heart.
She's like a wizard woman.
How do you do that? How do you treat Jesus like a king? Anybody know how do you treat Jesus like a king? Yeah.
I got one. Million dollars.
What's
Do not sin. Do not
not
go to
sin.
church.
Okay.
Yeah.
The Bible is full of things that tell us what Jesus likes and what Jesus doesn't like. It tells us how to live. But sometimes we run into things that we're not sure about. Now, back in the days when they had kings, they had to ask the king's permission to do things. So like, remember our example about the show South Park? Remember that? And we decided that was wrong. So before I watch a TV show, I should ask Jesus. I should look into His Word. I should find out how Jesus feels about the show that I want to watch. And if the show I'm wanting to watch is saying bad things about Jesus, or it's saying it's doing things that go against the Bible, then I shouldn't watch it. Right. Saying things that you shouldn't say. So,
today at school, at recess, right by my computer, there's these kids all on another table on the bus didn't have a computer on it. And at recess they were talking about like Jesus and this and that. But so like they said, they're making fun of him, like saying that he should go up and he was also speaking me up to
okay. Look, we run into that at school every day. People that want to make fun of Jesus, people that want us to do things that we know are wrong. Yeah, I know, there's chocolate everywhere. That's the bad thing about sin. It's messy and it causes all kinds of problems. You know, we're going to have to clean all this stuff up. And when you're out having fun in sin, there comes a time when you have to clean it up. You have to go back and try to fix things, okay? So hold on. What we want to do is make sure that we're treating Jesus like a king, all right? Are you doing that in your life? Are you treating Jesus like the king? Are you asking Him about the way you're living? Because, listen, there's going to be kids that not just try to get you to smoke, they'll try to get you to drink, they'll try to get you to do drugs. Some of you may have already faced this in your life, where you live, where you go to school, and there's all kinds of bad things that we could go on and on about things that you face. But listen, if you've got Jesus in the right place in your heart, you're not going to do those things. You're not going to want to do those things, okay? So we want you to make sure that Jesus is the king in your heart, that He is the main person that you want to please. Remember, I was doing some of that bad stuff to please my friends, right? To look good to my friends. And look what it did to Jesus here. Now, look at both these Jesus. We've got two Jesus people here. Which one looks like I love and care about Jesus?
No, this is an imposter.
We know that's not the real Jesus, but it's an example, okay? So that we can understand the Scripture. Now, we need to get him out. Okay?
Let's look at him.
All right. Look at poor Jesus. You might want to stay on here for a minute.
Pull up your pants.
Covered in
Avery, thank you for helping me, buddy. I really appreciate it.
Now turn around.
Okay. That's the end of our skit. We're going to go on back to class, okay? We're going to go back to class for a while. We got some cleanup to do. We're going to do some stuff.
Hey,